You're stealing people's labor. You're basically giving out unpaid internships for exposure. That's exactly what I'm doing.
You're not making content, you're stealing it.
You've made your millions, but off the backs of hundreds of other creators who didn't really consent to this partnership you forced upon them.
You can't just blatantly say, I do it because it makes money.
Oh, that, I mean, I do it because it makes money.
That wasn't anyone's point. Their point was that that's someone else's money.
Well, I do it because it's somebody else's money.
This is textbook freebooting. This is the literal definition of freebooting.
There's the console wars, the imaginary war on Christmas, and most gruesome of all, the war on React content. You know, when someone produces content where the primary goal is to share their reaction to a video with their viewers, or so some would claim. But since its inception, React content has been criticized for having a far more nefarious purpose and effect.
Reactors are ultimately avoiding work and pushing themselves above everyone else with unlimited unpaid labor and giving none of the profit generated from this labor back to the ones who performed it. Guys, you don't understand. I'm stealing labor to avoid paying wages, so it's totally okay.
I mean, it's pretty rare for creators like Jax Films to start feuds or drama, yet he's gone up to bat against React creators on multiple occasions.
Pretty brilliant how you play the entire video in your channel. It's like it's a one-stop shop. Why bother going to my channel to watch that video when you can just watch that and your reaction?
And his criticisms of Sniper Wolf has reignited the conversation about the ethics of React content and has led to React creators like XQC receiving heaps of backlash and criticism. So, why? Well, first, I think it's worth defining what a React video actually is. And personally, I see most React content as falling into one of two categories. First is what I would call the professional reactors, which is when the topic of a video is specifically picked due to a unique perspective that the reactor can provide. Generally, it's because the reactor possesses some level of expertise in the field of whatever they're reacting to. This would include Legal, Corridor Digital, and Pokemon challenges. These videos are generally informative in nature, where the knowledge of the creator is the primary draw, not what they're specifically reacting to. But secondly are the everyman reactors, which is when the creator in question is watching a clip purely for entertainment value. They don't have any specific thing to add to the content and generally are watching it for the very first time during their reaction, meaning they don't even know if they'll be able to make something that's transformative instead of just a carbon copy. And I make that distinction because I do not think the two types are equal. And I want to focus on what I think is by far the most egregious and controversial type of React content, which is everyman reactions on YouTube. Because more often than not, this involves a creator uploading someone else's content in its entirety to YouTube, regardless of if they're able to contribute to it. See, when content is in some way derivative of someone else's work, it legally and ethically should be transformative, which is just a way of saying that after watching someone's commentary or reaction to a piece of content, there should still be value in watching the original. You as the reactor can't just make a one-stop shop where you cut out the original creator and replace the experience of watching them. And most everyman reactors aren't doing that, especially on YouTube. Maybe while they play a video in its entirety, they'll say the occasional, "That's wild," but the reactor doesn't concern themselves with substance. For example, you recently had a video uploaded by the channel Lemino that totaled an hour and 38 minutes in runtime. 98 minutes of content, every second of which had to be researched, written, recorded, edited, and animated. That is a full-on documentary that took months to produce, right? Yeah, XQC uploaded a reaction where he watches the video in its entirety. And XQC's video, it's only 15 minutes longer than the original upload, meaning at least 86% of XQC's video is just re-uploading the documentary. So imagine the hundreds of hours of labor that went into producing that high quality piece of content for the Lemino channel. Now, in exchange for just 15 minutes of XQC's time, he was able to produce a video of the same exact quality plus whatever entertainment value his reacting might provide. So wait, 99% of the work for XQC's video was done by Lemino, yet XQC gets to keep all of the money his video makes. And that doesn't even mention the fact that this helped fill in 2 hours of his stream. How is that fair? In fact, this particular React video caused a significant amount of backlash on Twitter. So I actually watched through the entire thing in order to give you a better idea of just how little XQC is providing. But normally I'd rather do anything but watch a 2-hour XQC video.
Because my amount of reaction isn't really problematic compared to other people's amount of reaction. My transformability isn't an issue compared to theirs.
But again, at least 86% of it is a well-produced documentary, so it wasn't that painful. Now, the first minute and a half of the video is XQC saying that the documentary is interesting and nothing else. See, it's worth noting that when X talks, he naturally stutters and repeats himself a lot.
Guys, the Neo thing, guys, I actually feel, guys, listen, this is the, you know, chat? I can say all things I was wrong about.
Now, I'm not making fun of him for that, but it does mean that the roughly 14% of this video that is meant to act as XQC's reaction is not going to be dense commentary. A significant portion of that is going to be spent saying nothing. And I decided to color code the video to visually demonstrate just how little is being contributed. And it's not even worth dissecting because I made green the portion of the video that just features him playing the documentary, and you can barely see any other color. Now, occasionally XQC will throw in a quick comment while the video is playing, but I don't see how that could be seen as transformative if it's not even worth pausing the video for. I'm sorry if I don't think the occasional should get its own color. Like, how can you possibly argue this is anything more than XQC getting a 2-hour upload, which can make a boatload of money without having to do any work? In fact, at one point, XQC apologizes to his chat for having to pause so much.
I got pause one time. Yeah.
As mentioned at the beginning.
I got pause last time. Okay, I promise.
If he sees pausing as a bad thing, then how on earth can you even try to argue that he's making something transformative? And at another point, X asks the following question.
Chat, what was the color of the 2 black dudes in this frame before? What was the color of their shirts?
Yeah, he's referring to this still, where there were 3 guys and the photos were black and white, meaning no one would know the colors of their shirts. Yeah, maybe you can see why I'm being a little critical of his commentary when he's not even paying attention. And with this topic, the AdSense being stolen by the reactors is a major point of criticism against this practice. But according to XQC, that money isn't his primary motivator. In fact, bringing up that money makes you small-minded, says the f***ing millionaire. See, React creators across the spectrum become very defensive upon being called out. Even creators who are generally very composed and thoughtful, or at the very least, place a high emphasis on being brand friendly, end up making fools of themselves or just acting in ways that I don't love, even if I'm a fan of the creator.
Not everyone is in YouTube or online content creation for the maximum amount of money. Maybe it's different with Dark Viper, and that's why he's always so fixated on the money aspect of things. I took a bit of an L+ ratio here. There was a lot of things that I got wrong.
See, Twitter, I refuse to call it X, recently saw an increase in people criticizing React content, particularly XQC. And he's responded to this with kind of a series of tantrums. Like I said, he had taken to Twitter to say anyone who brought up money while discussing his exploitation of other creators was small-minded, completely oblivious to the fact that while hundreds of thousands of views a day may be pocket change to him, that's more than enough for most people to make a comfortable living. Also, it's absolutely about the money because he's making videos to promote his streams where he makes money. So congrats on not caring about the AdSense directly, I guess? Like, imagine being so condescending and thinking so highly of yourself for coming up with the brilliant idea to make YouTube videos to promote your stream, which literally every streamer does. He was also called out for a reaction during his stream where he immediately walks away and lets someone else's video just keep playing. See, that way XQC can keep making money during his stream without even having to be in the room. And then when he comes back, well, he handles the situation with the grace and maturity we've come to expect from him.
Lack of react. The lack of react. Boom! Metal pipes, cement, football, goal at the back.
And for even more grace, XQC responded to the criticism by at first apologizing for the mistake, but he then realized that he didn't actually re-upload the video, the reaction was just during his live stream. So X pretends to not understand that Neo specifically states he's unhappy with his video being used to keep XQC stream running without X having to do any work. And X ultimately lands on that he's done nothing wrong and that it's okay to just play a video while you're not even watching as long as it's a live stream, I guess.
Chat, is this video a re-upload or not? Wait, it didn't. Wait, it didn't. So what's the problem? So, what's the problem then? People say that it's when you upload it to the same platform and that's the problem. I won't even address it then. F this shit.
He also debated Ethan Klein on stream, and that became a whole thing that included XQC trying to flex on Ethan Klein. You know, Ethan and Hila Klein, the ones behind a massive clothing line and one of the largest podcasts in the world, clearly the poorest YouTubers alive. It also says a lot about how XQC views his viewers if he looks down at absolutely everyone that makes less money than he does, but whatever. And freeloaders, reactors, will often rely on 2 arguments when defending themselves. The first is that creators are welcome to request his React videos be taken down. And like Dark Viper has pointed out, That's insane. You don't get consent from someone after the fact with anything. That's not how consent works. But also, I'm a small channel that has a number of videos that have done well and went on to be somewhat prominent in certain communities and controversies. So I've had streamers react to my videos before. Do you know the absolute fiasco I would risk by striking down a creator like XQC? If I claimed the video or gave him a copyright strike, which would likely be well within my right, it takes him uttering my name once for him to send his entire audience after me with way worse than a mean comment. Even Ludwig, who makes React content, admits that going up to bat against creators stealing your content would put you at risk.
But let's be real. If a creator tries to take down an XQC or whoever it is, they're gonna get in a world of hate because of it, and it's just totally not worth it.
Also, I choose very carefully who I risk making an enemy of. There are multiple creators that do React content that I respect and take no issue with outside of their reactions. Claiming their video, which they're saying to do, would ultimately hurt myself in the long run. If I annoy a few of the right people, that could completely shut me out from the live streaming community and could cost opportunities down the line. So with such major negatives at stake, you're probably just gonna let it go because it's not worth it. So it's just straight up intimidation tactics. You can claim the video, but the understanding is that you won't. But the second argument reactors frequently make is that their React videos are actually a public service, that they are selflessly providing exposure to the creator they react to. But that's been demonstrated to be BS on every level. Internet Anarchist actually did an experiment where they had XQC react to his content while doing everything possible to promote the Internet Anarchist channel. And even with that best case scenario, Anarchist found that XQC's reaction still hurt his channel with no real benefit, because now your one-of-a-kind video has to compete with re-uploads of itself. Sure, if you're someone whose video has 100 views, maybe that could be beneficial, but if your content's already in the algorithm, you're not going to see a benefit from this. But a small to mid-sized channel could feel a reasonable dent in their earnings because of something like this. And I've even seen people go on to say certain specific creators owe their livelihoods to people granting them exposure with reactions.
However, off the top of my head, I can think of multiple examples in times where React content has genuinely helped smaller creators like blow up their channel. My channel, I'm the perfect example of it. My channel literally got kickstarted because of Ray William Johnson reacting to my QWOP video in 2010. Without that happening, I probably wouldn't have this channel right now. I wouldn't be anywhere near the position I'm in right now if not for that reactor.
But they're just highlighting those few examples in order to distract from the thousands and thousands of creators who have had their work exploited and lose money as a result. While specific individuals may be worse off, the creator ecosystem as a whole would largely benefit from reactors just stopping. Like, shoutouts can be helpful for creators. Those can be huge, but if no creator ever shouted out a smaller channel, do you really think no one would ever come up again? Because while a React video's 500,000 potential views may not all go directly to whatever creator is being reacted to, they would go to other creators, the ones making original content worth re-uploading. If someone's video is at 98% in quality after working on it for 60 hours, and XQC provides a bare bones reaction that adds just enough entertainment to fill in the last 2%, why does he deserve to have a video that's at 100% quality, because it's inherently better than the original video thanks to his contribution, where he only has to provide 2% of the value, all while making it so the original creator now has to compete with re-uploads of their own video, all while being either afraid or unable to do anything in order to fix it? That's insane to justify. Though I've mentioned the creator Dark Viper a couple of times, and I should specify why. See, there are two creators that I have personally observed to take the most hardline stance against React content. Dark Viper AU with an extensive video essay / rant series on the topic, and Jax Films, who has made multiple sketches, parodies, and rants aimed at this topic over the years. I highly recommend Viper's series if you really want to get into the weeds of this issue across numerous platforms, and Jack's videos on this are all funny and insightful, links below. But those two names might sound strange for me to bring up, as neither is particularly controversial or known for getting involved in typical YouTuber drama, certainly not for starting it. Well, I want to talk about Jack's most recent comments on React content, because Jack has previously spoken out on the cycle of a creator putting countless hours into a video just for someone to basically steal it and siphon views from them.
I really like the part where you played my video in its entirety and then didn't really react to it, just kind of sat there. I also like the part where you added virtually no insight. You just kind of rambled on for about 5 minutes and missed the point entirely.
And recently, that's included him setting aim at Sniper Wolf, one of the largest creators on YouTube and somewhat of a golden child for the platform. See, Sniper Wolf's videos are entirely TikTok reactions. That's all she does really, at least on her main channel. And Jax Films has come out and stated that he didn't approve of such low effort and exploitative content, making Sniper Wolf a fortune.
You know the phrase work smarter, not harder? Well, Sniper Wolf does neither. She just steals and doesn't credit anyone, and has become a zillionaire in doing so.
Because how is it fair for Sniper Wolf to be able to buy a mansion without having to come up with a single original idea? Not to mention that YouTube themselves are basically co-signing on this kind of content.
This is the official YouTube creators account on Twitter, claiming she gets her ideas from her fans. What ideas? Quite literally, all she does is upload other people's TikToks. How is that an idea? What am I not getting here?
And with Sniper Wolf in particular, her reactions are generally just restating what happened in the TikTok she's watching. Like, that's literally it.
Oh, it's like glitter glue in a bowl. Oh, pick it up, pull it out, get rid of it.
Her videos are nothing more than TikTok compilations that include her face so she can grow an actual following.
Where did Sniper Wolf go? This is textbook freebooting. This is the literal definition of freebooting.
So Jack set out on a project that openly satirized Sniper Wolf, showcasing just how low effort and lacking in substance her content is. Yeah, remember how I said that reactors get very defensive in response to critics? Despite Jack only calling out her content, Sniper Wolf responded with a series of personal attacks.
The only thing that is funny about you is your hairline. Wah. I can't stand that a female YouTuber is getting more views than me. Is it because, as she suggested, that I'm sexist and only go after female reactors? Well, no, and no.
Which is insane. Someone saying, I think your content is unethical should not translate to personal attacks on appearance and views. Especially since Jack doesn't upload as frequently as she does, is fine with making content that isn't tailor-made for the algorithm, and who has actually been influential on the YouTube space. I don't know, it's just very telling to me when someone focuses on views over impact, especially when, Jack had a daily-ish series that would often crack 1 million views. But unlike React content, Jack's series required work on his part. Effort. It was an original project every day, whereas she can only maintain that upload schedule by stealing. Now with all of this, there are two questions that I think are fair to ask. Why are commentary videos and video essays like mine, where I use clips constantly, okay and ethical, and where do I draw the line with React content as a whole? Well, the answer to that question on commentary I think is actually pretty simple. You just have to look at the difference between commentary videos and a reaction, which is that commentary videos require preparation. You cannot just play a video while knowing nothing about it and do commentary. You have to curate clips in advance, pick the excerpts you want to use, script or at least plan out your points, and ultimately try to accomplish a specific goal, whether it's being persuasive, entertaining, or bringing light to something. That is inherently transformative. Like, I don't think you can even try to argue that you have seen in full any asset I've used in this video. This video is an essay that uses parts of multiple videos in order to make an argument. That is the very definition of transformative. Commentary and video essays, they both mean that the creator knows in advance what they are contributing in order to make their content transformative. Everyman reactors are not doing that. And as for where I think the line is for this genre across every platform, it's complicated. Are Twitch streamers doing watch parties okay? What about TikTok duets that are just someone watching a clip and saying nothing but occasionally laughing? My answer is, I don't know. One, I don't know those platforms nearly as well as I do YouTube, so I'll stay in my lane. And two, that would make this video like an hour long, and no. But Dark Viper AU series that I mentioned makes a lot of interesting points about the harmful effects of React streamers on the Twitch and live streaming ecosystem, so I would strongly recommend checking it out for his take as an actual streamer. With all that said, I think for YouTube, where the line should be is at the very least before the point of blatant theft. I really do think professionals reacting to videos do have their place and usually are transformative as they turn something made for entertainment into something informative. Like here, I did the same color-coded exercise for a random VFX artist React clip. Notice the difference between that and an XQC reaction? But what YouTube is comfortable with letting creators like XQC and Sniper Wolf get away with, where they are fully indifferent to their ability to transform the content in any way, not only should that not be monetizable, but YouTube desperately needs to do something in order to stop putting the burden on their small and mid-sized creators like they always do.